What's up, guys? This is 2 Bucks, and this commentary will be about having children. Now, in all honesty, most of the people watching this video probably haven't even thought about having children at all. At least 70% of you are probably children yourselves, and many of you probably haven't even hit puberty yet. But even still, I think having children is a nice topic to discuss in a Call of Duty Black Ops commentary. Makes perfect sense, so that's what I'm gonna do. And most adults who probably have kids that are watching this video, which is probably like 5 people, are probably going to think that I'm really naive and the stuff that I say in this video. But, you know, it is what it is. It's hard for me to believe that at the age of like 15, I was asking myself occasionally whether I even wanted to have kids at all. I don't know if that's weird or not. If you're a 15-year-old, you're asking yourself whether you want to have kids. But every once in a while, you know, I'd give it some thought. And by the time I was 16, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to have kids when I grow up. And I really don't understand the point of view of people who say that they never want to have kids. I'm not condemning them for not wanting to have kids. I just don't understand, from my perspective, why they wouldn't want to have kids. I mean, I always thought that it was one of the meanings of life to have babies. So, yeah. And I've also thought about how many children I'd want to have. And I really don't know about that one. At least one. I think most likely 2 or more. But no more than 4 or 5. I figure I could either start off with a relatively small family and have like 30 grandchildren. I guess that's not really small, but 30 grandchildren by the time I'm 100. Or I could just go all out and have 100,000 grandchildren when I'm 100. All I would have to do is move to a Middle Eastern country with a lot of money by the time I'm 20, so I only have 2 years to do this. Marry 100 wives, have 10 children with each of them by the time I'm 30. So that would be 1,000 children, and then all of them would have 10 children, you know. I mean, they could have 100 children if they want to, but all of them would just only have to have 10 children by the time they're 30. So that means by the time I'm 60, I would have 10,000 grandchildren. And then by the time I'm 90, if those grandchildren each have 10 children themselves, I would have 100,000 great-grandchildren. And if I live to be 120, I could have 1,000,000 great something might have went wrong with my calculations just now, but whatever. But most likely I'll settle for 2 kids. You know, it doesn't really matter what gender they are. Actually, I think it does kind of matter. I think I'm just going to keep having children until I have at least 1 boy or 1 girl. So if I have like 50 boys in a row, I'm just going to keep going until I get a girl, or, you know, vice versa. And I know you guys are probably thinking of all sorts of stereotypical jokes about how Asians like to eat their daughters. But no, I'm not going to have 50 daughters just so I can eat them. I'll just eat like 5 of them and keep the rest. Actually, I don't even know if Asians eating their daughters is a stereotype, so maybe I've just created a stereotype. But in all reality, Asians do not eat their daughters. I'm pretty sure. I've never witnessed it myself. But yeah, I'm getting way off topic here. The next thing I wanted to discuss is how I will raise my children. Now, this is something that I haven't put that much thought into. I've only gotten some abstract ideas about, and I really think that it's something that I won't truly know how to do until I actually have kids. I mean, I'm just an 18-year-old kid myself. How the hell am I supposed to come up with a solid plan of how to raise my children at this age? And of course, it also depends on what my husband wants to do, you know, once I meet him, and we'll go from there. But I think in general, I will carry on the Asian tradition of being a rather strict parent. I want my children to be hardworking, perseverant, you know, setting goals for themselves and having high success, whether it be academically, physically, as in sports, or, you know, musically, or any other thing that they do these days with kids. Basically, I just want them to be, you know, successful or want to be successful. I really don't want a bunch of lazy kids who don't know what to do with their lives or anything like that. And honestly, I think that the happiest people are the ones who are really good at something that they do. And I just want my kids to be happy. You know, I really don't care if they're rich and famous, but, you know, if they get there, that's cool too. So while I won't be a parent that tells them, no, you can't go to any sort of sleepovers or parties at all for your entire life until you're 37 years old, but I'm also not going to let them watch TV or play video games excessively all day like what I do. And I'm probably going to be like, do math now all the time. And yeah. And probably by the time they are, you know, 15, 16, I'll just let them loose, so to speak. I really don't like parents who are overprotective, who think that they know what's best for their kids and don't let their kids actually do what they want. I mean, when your kids are really young, that's what you should do because little kids don't know any better. But once your kids start reaching the teenage age, I think it's time for parents to let go a bit, let their kids explore in the world, or else that might inhibit their development. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, I'll still have to set some boundaries. Like if my daughter says, "Hey Dad, I'm going to the brothel now. I'll be back at 3 a.m. in the morning and get my HIV tests ready." I'm going to say, "Hell no, Stacy, you ain't doing that." And if my son says, "Hey Dad, I'm going to start a Satan worship club at school." "Nah, Moses, that ain't going to go down under my roof." And speaking of coming up with weird names for my kids, I'm going to give my kids epic names. My sons will probably be named after famous Greek heroes or famous biblical characters. My first son will definitely be named Moses. I mean, that is just such an epic name. How many people do you know named Moses? I kind of feel like if I give my kids epic names, they'll grow up to be epic people. And I'll probably name a few daughters after Greek goddesses, like Aphrodite or something. I'm not really even sure if she's a Greek goddess or Roman. I really don't know anything, do I? I'm just going to shut up. But I'm also going to name a daughter Cleopatra, which I'm pretty sure was an Egyptian queen. That just sounds like a cool name, And for their middle names, I'll give them a traditional Chinese name. I mean, since they are going to be born and raised in the United States, most likely, I don't want all their teachers to have to call them, Lao Mian Hong Shao Rou the Third or something like that. So I'm going to give them an American first name and a Chinese middle name to carry on the tradition of being Chinese. That is an incorrect use of the word tradition. And finally comes the gripping question of when I'm going to have kids and who am I going to have kids with. As for when, I'm thinking around age 30, even though sometimes when I think about age 30, I think that's kind of late, so maybe 25. But I also have my own career to think about. Like, if you've watched my past videos, you'll know that I want to start a business when I grow up. And by the time I'm 25, that'll probably be in full swing. So I don't know if I can handle kids at that time, so maybe I'll have to wait until later in life. But things like that, I probably won't be able to change that much, so it is what it is. And as for person, I don't really know who it's going to be. Probably your mother. The only really requirement that I have is that the person has to be at least somewhat intelligent. I want my kids to grow up being intelligent individuals. And, I should narrow this down to one person because like I said earlier in the video, I might have 100 wives. So I guess I could screen them with an IQ test or anything before I start planting my seed in them. And honestly, they will probably be big booty bitches, or at least somewhat attractive, no major facial deformities or anything like that. And as for race, I find that women of all races can be attractive, although I'm thinking I'll just get a wife of every race. Okay, I'm just going to stop with the polygamy jokes here. But yeah, most likely though, my wife will be Asian or white. Because honestly, you don't see a lot of Asian males with black wives or Hispanic wives. I mean, if a black girl comes up to me and says, "I want to have your babies," then I'll be like, why not? But most likely, white or Asian is the path that I will go. And just a side note on the word black, I saw one of the dumbest YouTube comments the other day. There was a YouTube video where the person used the word black when referring to black people, and someone commented, "It's not black, it's African American," which is so incredibly stupid because obviously not all Africans are Americans. What do you call a black person in Canada or Sweden? African Canadians? African Swedes? I'm pretty sure you don't do that. And is there any other more politically correct term to refer to black people? Negroes? Africans? Those sound even worse than black. So I'm pretty sure black is the correct term when referring to black people. And seriously, do any black people get offended when you say that they're a black person? I don't know. Do any white people get offended when they call them a white person? No! I've just strayed so off topic and offended like so many people that I think I'm just going to stop this commentary now. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see y'all later.